Before my husband passed away, I thought he hated me, but as I was sorting through his belongings, I discovered items that changed my view: my lost high school dance shoes, a broken pen, and a blood-stained handkerchief. Was he a hoarder? His stepbrother used to bully him, leaving scars from a curling iron that still marred his skin. It seemed he married me as a form of revenge. I realized the man I thought was vengeful and cold-hearted, a devil, had actually secretly cherished me. Following an accident, I was given a second chance at life, returning to a time when our youth was still intact. Jiangyu, I've come to save you. When I was reborn, the first thing I did was look for Jiangyu. I found him being tormented by his stepbrother, Song Linyan. The boys had pinned Jiangyu against a washbasin. Song Linyan, usually poised and genteel, was like a mad dog as he soaked Jiangyu's nearly perfect test papers and slapped them onto his face. Jiangyu was close to suffocating. Struggling in pain, "Hold him down, have you not eaten?" Song Linyan commanded. "Stop," I yelled as I rushed into the men's restroom and removed the wet papers from Jiangyu's face. He gasped for air, his eyes bloodshot and fierce. That look, it reminded me of the successful, feared Jiangyu years later. Seeing it was me, his fierce expression softened and then halted. "Let him go," I demanded. The boys hesitantly watched Song Linyan's reaction. Song Linyan put on his frameless glasses and gave me a gentle smile, resuming his facade of a good student. I had been deceived by him once before. "Are you deaf? My little princess asked you to let him go," he said smoothly. The boys released Jiangyu. I supported Jiangyu by the arm. "Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital?" As our eyes met, he looked at me intensely, making me inexplicably nervous. Xin, I advise you to stay away from this boy. His dead mother was a prostitute. "And he's just as filthy," Song Linyan taunted. Suddenly, Jiangyu charged and punched Song Linyan in the face. Song Linyan, wiping the blood from his nose, furiously shouted, "You dare hit me, you're asking for death, get him." Jiangyu fought against 6, surprisingly gaining the upper hand. I tried to break up the fight, but in the chaos, I ended up pinned against the washbasin by Jiangyu. He wrapped his arms around me, shielding me beneath him as punches landed on him. "Let go of me," I said. "Don't move, just stay put," he insisted, pressing uncomfortably against me. We were both called to the principal's office. Jiangyu had no parents to defend him, facing the wrath of wealthy parents alone. "Look what he did to my child," one parent exclaimed. "I never agreed to enroll him. What good are his grades when he comes from a horse lineage? He's rotten to the core," another added. "Expel him," they demanded. Jiangyu remained expressionless throughout the accusations, glancing up. He commanded such a powerful presence that everyone immediately fell silent. The teacher asked, "Who started the fight?" All the boys pointed at Jiangyu. My mother, while tending to Song Linyan's nosebleed, said coldly, "Expulsion is unnecessary. However, a violent troublemaker like him doesn't deserve to run against my son for the title of top 3 outstanding students in the city. Mr. Zhang is right. We should also record this incident as a demerit." Song Linyan looked at Jiangyu with a malicious and triumphant gaze. Why didn't Jiangyu defend himself? Did he realize that no one would believe him even if he spoke up? In my mind, I saw the desperate young man pleading for my belief. In a previous life, because Jiangyu missed an exam, Song Linyan won first place in the physics competition. My mother was elated and threw a banquet in the school auditorium. Jiangyu burst in, knife in hand, and stabbed Song Linyan, as Song Linyan clutched his wound. He pushed me towards Jiangyu, crying, Xin, save me, save me." I firmly grabbed Jiangyu's wrist. Jiangyu, let's talk this out. Violence isn't the solution. Please don't be rash. I have a younger brother named Jiang Sui. Sui is in casual. He's only 7, and he's blind." Jiangyu, with blood on his face and tears in his eyes, his hair exuding despair, said, "Song Linyan ran him over with his motorcycle." Song Linyan retorted, "I didn't do it. You're just trying to get compensation for your brother's death by framing me." Jiangyu gave a dismal smile, pushed me aside, grabbed Song Linyan by the collar, and plunged the knife into his stomach. As he pulled out the knife, ready to strike again, I grabbed the blade. He stared at my bleeding hand, stunned. "My brother isn't like that. You can't harm my family." At that moment, I thought I was being brave, protecting my family, doing the right thing. Jiangyu looked as if he had been drained of all spirit, his face ashen. He was subdued by the police who arrived, screaming in despair, "He is exactly like that. He is." Xin, "No one believes me. Why don't you believe me either?" Xin, "Don't listen to his nonsense. He's just crazy." Caught between my usually gentle and refined brother and a man who had lost control, I naturally believed the former. Song Linyan wasn't critically injured and was discharged from the hospital after half a month. Jiangyu was expelled from school and sent to juvenile detention. 03. 9 years later, I saw Jiangyu again. By then, he had become a formidable figure in the business world. He had found evidence that proved Song Linyan was responsible for Jiang Sui's death. Song Linyan was imprisoned, unexpectedly, years ago. It was my mother who had helped Song Linyan destroy the motorcycle involved in the accident. Burying the truth, as a result, Jiangyu launched a fierce retaliation against my family and drove my mother's company into the ground. Unable to cope, my mother suffered a stroke and became paralyzed. Burdened with a huge debt, I resorted to dancing in bars to pay it off. At the bar, I was asked to change into a skimpy dance outfit. Xin, come dance on the table. The bar had only one table of customers, all wealthy businessmen. Several of them were creditors of my family. Jiangyu was also there, impeccably dressed and looking distinguished. He sipped his drink nonchalantly, seemingly indifferent to everything around him. Zhou Quan, who had once pursued me and whom I had rejected, was the one who asked me to dance on the table. He had orchestrated this whole setup. I turned to leave, but Zhou Quan grabbed my wrist tightly. He looked me over with ill intentions, his gaze sticky and vile. Like a rat from the sewer. Xin, you look beautiful, truly irresistible. I've been thinking about you since you turned me down. How about this, 1 million per session, and you let us do whatever we want, okay? I instinctively looked towards Jiangyu, who watched me with cold detachment as I floundered. Ridiculous, why did I think he would save me? In a flash of anger, I grabbed a wine bottle and smashed it over Zhou Quan's head, causing him to bleed. You think you're still the precious Miss Chen? Who do you think backs you up to dare to treat me like this? Zhou Quan's slap came flying at me. I faced him defiantly, feeling fear and despair inside. At the critical moment, Jiangyu grabbed Zhou Quan's hand and punched him in the face. She has my backing. Is that enough? The group seemed to fear Jiangyu. As their lecherous intentions faded and they all fell silent like cicadas in winter, Zhou Quan, no longer arrogant, nodded and bowed an apology. Mr. Jiang, I was blind. I had no idea Miss Chen was someone you favored. Jiangyu stood in front of me, his smile brief, but I knew he was angry. He held the back of my neck, tightly keeping me close to him. Let go, you're just like them, you bastard. Jiangyu's eyes darkened. He leaned in and kissed me forcefully. It was my first kiss. It was fierce, painful, and suffocating. After a long while, he eased up just enough to let me breathe. Our breaths mingled, our proximity seemingly intimate. Chen Lixin, marry me. The cold touch by my ear was his wrist beads brushing against me. Jiangyu always wore a string of prayer beads, said to be for his brother's peace. The devil who practiced vegetarianism and chanted Buddhist scriptures now wanted to force me into marriage. Are you crazy? Yes, I've been crazy for many years. He continued to kiss me, his voice hoarse. You haven't finished paying your debt to me. I want your lifetime for redemption. In the past life, it was too late to seek redemption. This life's pitiable Jiangyu. I will protect him. They lied. It was clearly them who bullied Jiangyu first in the restroom. Song Linyan had them hold Jiangyu down and cover his face with a wet paper roll. My mother frowned. Xin, don't talk nonsense. Your brother is a good student. How could he bully a classmate? I'm not making this up. I took a video. The parents watched the video, speechless. Jiangyu got into a fight because Song Linyan insulted his mother. Shouldn't he have fought back? They remained silent. I approached Jiangyu and said, Jiangyu, take off your jacket. Raising an eyebrow, Jiangyu obediently removed his jacket. I breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there were no burn marks from a curling iron on his body. His back was covered in bruises, clearly the most severe of his injuries. The previously unyielding parents suddenly changed their tune, suggesting it was just kids fooling around and to let it go. The teacher wanted to smooth things over. Teacher, the evidence is clear. If you can't ensure fair treatment, I know a place that can. The teacher responded, all of you, receive a demerit and write a reflection paper. My mom, furious, rushed over and slapped me. What nonsense has this boy fed you to make you turn against your own family? How can your brother compete for the city's top student award if he has a demerit for fighting? Mom, pampering him is harming him. He's malicious at heart, and if you keep indulging him, he'll eventually bring disaster. How can you talk about your brother like that? My mom raised her hand to slap me again. Jiangyu grabbed her arm, his gaze fierce. is a stepson closer to you than your own daughter? Did he ever save your life? Let go. My mom winced in pain, her demeanor weakening. Jiangyu let go of my mom, grabbed my wrist, and without looking back, walked out of the head teacher's office. Jiang, stay away from me. I'm not a good person. I stood there, stunned, watching his retreating figure. Damn it, Jiangyu, keep this up and you'll end up without a wife. Jiangyu is really aloof. I tried adding him as a friend on QQ, but he didn't accept. To get closer to him, I crossed 2 school buildings with my questions in hand to find him. Entering the classroom, I found Jiangyu asleep on his desk, bathed in sunlight, his silhouette exuding a cool charisma. I coughed and tugged at his sleeve. Jiangyu woke up, surprised to see me. What is it? I don't know how to solve this problem. Can you teach me? A classmate whispered. Jiangyu never talks to us, and your brother bullies him. There's no way he'd help you. Jiangyu looked at the problem, started writing the solution, and explained it to me. The classmate was silent. We were very close, and I stared intently at him. In my past life, before Jiangyu died, I thought he only hated me. He used my mom's medical expenses as leverage to coerce me into marrying him, merely to continue humiliating and seeking revenge on me. He paid off my debts, becoming my biggest creditor. After our marriage, he treated me poorly. He wouldn't allow me to work, didn't give me any money, and even took away my phone. Jiangyu completely isolated me, making my world revolve solely around him. When he was in a good mood, I want to go out and work. No, you can't. Why not? Because you're the little dog I raise, you can't just let go. The main reason I want to work is indeed to hope that one day I can break free from him. Our relationship is fundamentally unequal and unhealthy. I'm not content with being his dog. How would I repay you then? Jiangyu brushed back my sweat-dampened hair and said seriously, you can repay your debt in other ways. For instance, being with me once would offset 100 yuan. What a swindler, just 100 yuan each time. At this rate, it would take me 3 lifetimes to pay off my debt. The next morning, Jiangyu found the medicine I had hidden under the pillow. His face turned grim as he threw the medicine at me. Where did you get the money to buy this? I collected bottles and saved up. Jiangyu laughed out of sheer anger, pressing down on the back of my neck, a sense of oppression washing over me. Chen Lixin, even if you scavenge, you still want to kill my child. You're so unwilling to have my child. I rolled my eyes. It's his fault for never taking precautions. Plus, he's a top student. Didn't he learn anything about biology? It's not like conception happens immediately after sleeping together. What child? I looked up at him directly. Jiangyu, a child is the fruit of love. Did we get married because we loved each other? Jiangyu looked at me, his Adam's apple bobbing, hesitating to speak. If we don't love each other, why bring a child into this suffering? Then, his phone rang. It was the hospital. My mother had passed away last night. I was stunned for a long time, tears falling like rain, my body shaking like a sieve. Jiangyu held me, kissing my eyes, continuously comforting me. My mom passed away last night. Why did the hospital only notify you now? I grabbed Jiangyu's collar, fury surging. It's all your fault. If you hadn't forbidden me from using my phone, I could have received the call. I could have seen my mom one last time. It's you. You bankrupted my family. My mom couldn't handle the shock and fell ill. Jiangyu, I hate you so much. I despise you. I bit into his shoulder, tasting the blood in my mouth, wanting to tear off a piece of flesh. Jiangyu let me vent my anger, holding me tightly. Then, hate me, because hatred, too, can last a long time. Chen Lixin, did you understand? I snapped back from my memories, looking at the problem-solving steps Jiangyu had written. I actually knew how to solve it but said sheepishly, I understand. I came to see him, with ulterior motives beyond just the lesson. I have another question. I propped up my chin, smiling at him with twinkling eyes. I added you on QQ. Please accept the friend request, Jiang the scholar. Before he could refuse, I quickly added, it'll be easier to ask you when I encounter problems I don't understand. Jiangyu took out his phone and, right in front of me, accepted my friend request. Wait for me after school. Let's go home together. I didn't give him a chance to refuse and quickly left. After saying that, I returned to the classroom in high spirits, only to find my textbook shredded and sprinkled with filth, and a dead cockroach floating in my water bottle. Song Linyan stood before me, his pretense stripped away, leading the bullying against me. The curtains were drawn, and the doors were shut. A few girls held me down. Song Linyan approached me with a heated curling iron, getting close to my face. Xin, you've suddenly become close with Jiangyu, and it's making me very angry. if you promise not to talk to him, I'll spoil you like before. Okay, he was insane, in my past life. I had gone to the equipment room to return a ball. Jiangyu was sitting against the wall, pale-faced, his nose still bleeding. At that time, I didn't know that he had just been a victim of bullying by Song Linyan, who had burned his back with a curling iron and was responsible for his nosebleed. I crouched in front of him, took out a handkerchief, and pressed it against his nose. Do you need me to help you to the medical room? You look very bad, Jiangyu, as if electrocuted. Pushed me away and covered his face. No need, I just have low blood sugar. I'll be fine after sitting for a while. I took out a thermos from my bag. It contained brown sugar water for my period cramps. Drink this. Seeing the brown sugar water, Jiangyu guessed my condition and his ears turned bright red. Drink it. Aren't you hypoglycemic? I brought the thermos to his lips and helped him drink. That's when I noticed how handsome he was, with fair skin, long eyelashes, and those intricately expressive eyes. Xin, what are you doing here? Song Linyan pulled me up nervously and dragged me away. Stay away from Jiangyu. His mother died of a vile disease. He's tainted too. That's Jiangyu. Don't talk about him like that. He ranked first in our grade this time. I think he's really impressive. I looked back at Jiangyu. The boy was sitting in a dim corner, his head bowed, holding the blood-stained handkerchief. Knowing the things Song Linyan had done in a past life, I only felt disgust toward him. Disgusting. I don't want a brother like you. You're just a beast. Chin Xin. Do you think I wouldn't dare lay a hand on you? The curling iron burned my shoulder, and I trembled in pain. Song Linyan covered my mouth, his expression manic, addicted to the violence. Ah, the pain, it really hurt so much. Bang, the door was kicked open. Jiangyu, seeing the scene inside the classroom, went mad. His eyes were just as they were in the past life when he wounded Song Linyan, angry, resolute, reckless. The girls retreated in fear. Jiangyu, expressionless, picked up a chair and swung it at Song Linyan. Song Linyan was knocked down, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He tried several times but failed to stand up. Jiangyu grabbed Song Linyan by the collar, punching him repeatedly. The girl I wouldn't even dare to touch a hair on. How could you dare treat her like this? He really wanted to kill Song Linyan. I rushed over and hugged Jiangyu's arm. Jiangyu was breathing rapidly, his eyes bloodshot, and his hostility lingered. Jiangyu, it hurts. Our eyes met, and I was stunned, my heart suddenly aching sharply. He cried, the tough Jiangyu. He actually cried. He threw Song Linyan aside like trash, scooped me up in a princess carry, and strode quickly to the hospital. The burn caused a fever. In my feverish delirium, I kept dreaming of the day Jiangyu died. During that time, I really hated him. After my mother died, I wanted to divorce him. Jiangyu disagreed. Chin Xin, in this life, you can only be widowed. Divorce is not an option. Jiangyu locked me in the house and watched me even more closely. I went crazy and smashed everything I could at home. Jiangyu didn't care and joked that his little dog was a husky, loving to bite people and tear up the house. No matter how I threw tantrums, he never got angry. Until I sold the wedding ring and hired a car planning to escape, Jiangyu was completely infuriated by me. He grabbed my hand, put the ring back on, and kissed me passionately. Lately, I've been thinking, what can I do to keep you by my side? Let's have a child. Our child will surely be the cutest kid in the world. It doesn't matter if you don't love me, you will surely love them. Slap. I slapped him. What do you think of children? You actually want to use a child to tie me down? I actually haven't done anything to wrong you, have I? You've had your revenge. I don't owe you anything. Can't you just let me go? Jiangyu didn't hit me. Instead, it was me who bit and scratched him, exerting all my strength to hit him. His actions were gentle. Although he had lost his reason due to anger, he still indulged and tried to please me. Jiangyu was very capable. When he put his mind to it, I simply couldn't resist. But I was not content. Linyan brother. While my husband was holding me, I called out the name of my stepbrother, the person he most despised and hated. After shouting, I regretted it immediately. There was no feeling of revenge in my heart, only a sense of suffocation and panic. Jiangyu froze, pinching my chin, looking at me incredulously. Have you always secretly loved him? No, it's not like that. Why him of all people? Jiangyu's eyes were filled with fury, and a punch came flying. He was a boxing expert. One punch could knock me out. Terrified, I closed my eyes. Bang. In the end, the fist landed on the mattress. Jiangyu stood up, but instead of leaving, he stayed downstairs in the living room, drinking. Suddenly, I heard loud crashing sounds followed by a man's crying roars that were deafeningly loud. I quickly dressed and curled up under the blankets. Stabbing him in the chest hurt me as well. Around 3 a.m., when people are in their deepest sleep, someone tampered with the electrical wiring in our house, sparking a massive fire. It was Song Linyan who had hired someone to commit murder. Our bedroom was the target. The flames were fierce and quickly engulfed it. Jianyu had a chance to escape, but he didn't hesitate to rush upstairs to save me. The exit was blocked by intense flames, and the thick smoke was suffocating. We had an escape rope at home, but couldn't find an anchor point due to the raging fire. Jianyu then tied the rope around his waist, making himself the anchor. He secured the escape rope on me and lifted me out of the window. Jianyu, I cried. Jianyu kissed my eyes, and we rubbed noses in a deeply affectionate way. Don't be afraid, isn't your husband right here? I'll protect you, he said, as Jianyu lowered the rope. I looked up at him just as the flames engulfed him, his body beginning to burn, yet, he continued to hold tightly onto the rope, serving as my lifeline. I was eventually rescued by firefighters, but he perished in the fire. Dying in such a painful and desperate way must have been agonizing. While sorting through his belongings, I found in a safe my high school dance shoes that I had lost, a broken pen, and a blood-stained handkerchief. It turned out that Jianyu had secretly loved me for many years. Chin Lashin. When I woke up, I was still in tears. Seeing Jianyu alive, I threw myself into his arms and held him tight. He was alive. I rubbed my face against his neck, comforted by his scent and body warmth. Jianyu seemed stunned, his arms hung in the air, not touching me. Did you have a nightmare? He asked. Yes, I had a terrible dream, but thankfully I woke up. Dreams are often the opposite of reality. After getting an injection, Jianyu offered to take me home. My mom is away on a business trip, and I'm afraid Song Linyan might bully me again. Jianyu frowned and said, stay at a friend's house. That's exactly what I was thinking. Jianyu, can I stay at your place? Jianyu coughed dryly, his face as expressionless as ice, though his ears turned red. Chin Lashin, don't you have any friends? A potential boyfriend, does that count? Well, I'm not very likable, so I don't have friends. Having no other choice, Jianyu took me to his home. There, I finally met his younger brother, Jiang Sui, who was sitting quietly at a neighbor's house, waiting for his brother to pick him up. Jianyu led the boy to me and said, a beautiful sister has come, go say hello. Hello, sister. Hi there. I crouched down, touched his chubby cheeks that reminded me of Shinchan, and felt a sourness in my nose. In this life, I must protect this child. I was sleeping in Jianyu's bedroom while he went to sleep with his younger brother. Suddenly, a violent storm broke out during the night, complete with thunder and lightning. I've been terrified of thunder ever since the day I saw Jianyu's body during a storm. His body was burnt beyond recognition, still clutching the escape rope with the rope cutting into his flesh. His prayer beads were broken, beads scattered all around. Since then, the sound of thunder has triggered a strong reaction in me. Boom, Jianyu. Hearing my scream, Jianyu knocked on the door. I immediately jumped out of bed barefoot, opened the door, and threw myself into his arms. I'm scared. Jianyu's muscles tensed as he hugged me tightly, as if trying to embed me into his very bones. Across life and death, across time and space, we were finally in each other's arms again. Husband, I want to kiss you, desperately. The embrace didn't last long. Jianyu carried me back to bed and tucked me into the blankets. I'll stay here with you until you fall asleep. Don't be afraid. Jianyu sat on the edge of the bed, his expression grave, as if the person who had just held me with such desire wasn't him. I stared at him, and he covered my eyes with his hand. Close your eyes, go to sleep. I can't sleep. I held his hand. Can you hold me as I sleep? I'm afraid of the thunder, but I won't be if you're holding me. The palm of Jianyu's hand was hot as he leaned down and whispered in my ear, Chin Lashin, I am a man, my self-control is already running low from when you hugged me, so, don't tempt me further. I blushed. To be a lovesick high schooler, but actually, I'm even more smitten with him by my side. The thunder didn't seem scary at all. It turns out, I wasn't afraid of the thunder. I was afraid of a stormy night without him, having just recovered from a fever. I was weak and soon fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up to find Jianyu sleeping beside me. I clung to him like an octopus, my face against his chest. In our past life, after we were married, this was how we often slept. I missed this so much. My dear husband, have you hugged enough? Can you let go now? I looked up to see Jianyu's face. He looked like he hadn't slept all night. I quickly let go of him. A little head peeked in at the door. Brother, why are you sleeping with sister? Oh. I get it now, sister is actually my sister-in-law. Children really do say the darndest things. I couldn't bear to look at Jiangyu, shyly hiding my head under the blanket. Jiangyu chuckled softly and took his younger brother to wash up. Song Linyan was seriously injured yesterday and took a leave from school today. I was solving practice problems in the classroom when I heard my classmates discussing Jiangyu. Jiangyu is so awesome. He gathered everyone who put a dead cockroach in Chen Lixin's cup and tore her book, and took them to the playground, and some rich girls too. I heard they also bullied Chen Lixin. All of them are Song Linyan's lackeys. Song Linyan even bullies his own stepsister. Is he even human? Shu, dare to speak ill of the school tyrant. Be careful, you might be next. Everyone rushed to see the commotion, and I followed. With so many people on the playground, Jiangyu stood out at first glance. Towering over the crowd, he was the tallest, the most handsome. Standing there expressionless, he still exuded an aura of coolness. Those who bullied me stood there timidly like quails. I run as many laps as you do. You stop when I stop. If I don't stop, none of you can stop, until I'm satisfied. You, brother, you, maybe you could just tell us how many laps to run. The other quails quickly agreed, overly eager to please. Yeah, brother, you rest, we can keep running. Jiangyu, a man of few words, started running. The others, with pained expressions, had no choice but to follow. Watching curiously, I asked a classmate nearby, how did Jiangyu become brother Yu? After the incident in the men's restroom where he fought 6 at once, and how he turned Song Linyan into a mess, it was awesome. And yesterday, after Song Linyan bullied you and got beaten up by Jiangyu again, Song is no match for Jiangyu. The title of school tyrant has changed hands. Now brother Yu is really popular. Previously, Song Linyan bullied so many students and hid behind his group of rich second-generation lackeys, pretending to be a good student and abusing his power for so long. Everyone hoped someone would stand up to him. That person is our great brother Yu. Jiangyu had great stamina, running 7 laps without a change in his expression. The girls had already squatted down and vomited. The boys managed to endure for 2 more laps, but as Jiangyu sped up, they collapsed, crying for mercy. With one look from Jiangyu, they immediately rolled over to apologize to me. Chen Lixin, we were wrong, we're sorry, I will not forgive you. Bullies do not deserve forgiveness. Thinking of Jiangyu's tragic fate in the past life, anger surged within me, and I struggled to calm down. As the crowd dispersed, Jiangyu and I stood face to face. Bow your head. The young man obediently bowed his head in a submissive gesture. I took out a handkerchief and wiped the sweat from his face, from his forehead, down his nose, finally stopping at his lips. Brother Yu, you were really impressive just now. Sure. We looked at each other and laughed together. The young man's eyes shone brightly. Was he excited just now? Because I called him brother Yu. Song Linyan never imagined that after his return, he would lose his status as the school bully. In the cafeteria, someone had taken his designated seat. Move. The person sitting in Song Linyan's seat was one of his former underlings. The person snorted disdainfully at him. Pa, you think you're still the school bully? You're just a loser under brother Yu's hands, and you still want to boss us around. Ha ha ha, that's hilarious. Song Linyan's eyes were sinister as he pushed up his glasses and signaled his other underlings to deal with this boy who dared to challenge his authority. To his surprise, the people around him remained still, staring at him with the same challenging look. Song Linyan panicked in an instant, feeling he had dominated the former school bully. The boy felt triumphant and vigorously dumped his tray on Song Linyan. The group of rich second-generation kids burst into laughter. Song Linyan, holding back his anger, saw me and Jiangyu and turned to leave in embarrassment. I couldn't help but feel delighted inside. All of this was what Song Linyan deserved. When the boy saw Jiangyu, he immediately stood up and offered his seat, groveling. Brother Yu, please sit. Jiangyu ignored them and pulled me to sit at the front. Does your shoulder still hurt? He was concerned about me, and I started to act spoiled. Ouch, it hurts so much I can't even hold chopsticks. I need brother Yu to feed me for it to get better. Jiangyu promptly stuffed a piece of braised pork into my mouth to shut me up. I was overjoyed inside. He was feeding me. And he really loves me. That night, there was a sudden power outage at Jiangyu's house. I have night blindness. In the pitch dark, I'm completely blind. Jiangyu helped me with washing up, squeezing the toothpaste and handing me the towel. Brother Yu, am I like your little brother now? Your little treasure. You're not even close. He can take care of himself. I groped my way out of the bathroom. Bang, I hit my knee, grimacing in pain. The next second, Jianyu scooped me up and carried me directly to bed. Will you stay with me tonight? I'm fragile and can't take care of myself right now. Jianyu sighed. I'll stay, my little treasure. I smiled triumphantly, groping around and holding his hand. I'm afraid of thunder and the dark. Am I useless? He said. No, you're useful. But what I feared most was waking up to find all this was just a dream. Jianyu would be back in his urn, ignoring me, holding the urn as I slept. I could never sleep well. After a while, Jianyu's breathing evened out. He was asleep. I moved closer. I wanted to kiss his lips, but accidentally kissed his eyes instead. It felt good kissing his eyes too. He used to like kissing my eyes in his past life. Good night, husband. The next day, my mom returned from her business trip. As soon as I got home, she started yelling at me. Did you spend the night at Jianyu's house? Do you have no shame at all? How could I have given birth to someone as shameless as you? I wasn't going to just take it lying down with her biased accusations. Did Song Linyan not tell you why I didn't come home? I pulled down my clothing to show her the burn on my shoulder. This burn was caused by Song Linyan with a curling iron. He bullies his classmates and he bullies me as well. My mom looked at my scar but still didn't believe me. Your brother is not that kind of person. Are you trying to drive him away because he tried to stop you from dating too early? And you hold a grudge against him? Chen Lixin, how can you be so heartless? I was stunned. It was quite ridiculous. No wonder Song Linyan dared to bully me. It must have been clear to him that my mom didn't really love me. In my past life, I never really understood. The only person who loved me, from beginning to end, was Jianyu. Only him. Our family situation is quite complicated. When I was 8, my mom's business failed once and she owed a lot of money. My stepfather ran off with the money, leaving Song Linyan with my mom. Although Song Linyan is not her biological son, he is very good at acting and winning my mom's favor. She really likes him and treats him as her own. In my past life, I was also deceived by Song Linyan, thinking he was a good brother, even when my mom transferred her company shares to him, allowing him to inherit the company. I didn't think she was being unfair. Later, Song Linyan and my stepfather embezzled the company's money. The reason why our family went bankrupt so quickly in my past life, other than Jianyu's schemed revenge, was also because of Song Linyan draining the company. Thinking about what happened to my mom in my past life, I can't say I hate her that much. I've completely given up on her. But I must make her see the truth. We can't let Song Linyan continue to leech off us. The advantage of being reborn is that you can foresee the future and prepare in advance. While my mom was away on her business trip, I had already located my stepfather. Mom, Song Linyan has been deceiving us. The apartment you bought for him is now occupied by his biological parents. If you don't believe me, come see for yourself. My mom was skeptical but still went out with me, just to be safe. I brought a few people to ensure our safety. When we opened the door to the apartment, we saw the happy family of 3. When will Lin be able to return to us? How long will that old woman monopolize my son? Said Zhang's dad. Why the rush? Zhang Chunmei is so wealthy, we must get our hands on all her property. He continued. Mom, Dad is right. I've been playing son to that old woman for so long. Not to suck her dry would be a waste. It's a huge loss. My mom exploded in anger, shouting, oh great. You all played your games well. Song Linyan was terrified when he saw my mom. Mom, don't call me mom. I don't have such a disgraceful son. Everyone get out of my house. My mom acted decisively, immediately kicking out the Song family. Standing in front of the garage, I stared at Song Linyan's motorcycle. In my past life, it was this very bike that he used to fatally hit Jiang Sui. I swung a large sledgehammer, dismantling the bike myself. I smashed it for 2 whole hours. Afterwards, I sat on a pile of scrap metal, drenched in sweat but feeling extremely refreshed. Our fates had changed. This time, I was determined to bring Song Linyan down to the dust. He would never hurt Jianyu again. My mom severed the adoption ties with Song Linyan. From a rich young master, he turned into a poor boy. His former wealthy friends mocked him even more relentlessly. Song Linyan came to the dance studio looking for me. He was no longer the bright and shiny figure he once was. His face was pale and haggard. Xian, can you please plead with mom for me? I want to go home. Song Linyan grabbed my shoulders. Brother knows he was wrong. Help me. I looked at him coldly, enjoying his misery. It took effort not to laugh. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jianyu approaching, and I immediately acted weak and helpless. You're hurting me. Let go. Jianyu rushed over, grabbed Song Linyan by the collar. and threw him to the ground. Don't bother her again, get lost. Song Linyan, both fearful and resentful towards Jiangyu, left dejectedly. I was wearing a ballet outfit, and Jiangyu's eyes were filled with admiration. Come, I'll dance for you. In my previous life, I didn't know when he had watched me dance, secretly keeping my dance shoes. This time, I wanted to dance countless dances for him. I rose on my tiptoes, spinning and leaping like a lively little swan. Midway, the straps of my dance shoes came undone. Jiangyu kneeled on one knee to tie them for me. I leaned down, supporting myself on his shoulder, and asked, Jiangyu, did you realize that I'm pursuing you? I didn't notice. Jiangyu held my ankle, his voice enchanting. Could you make it more obvious? His gaze was like an eternal flame. I blushed. Alright, I'll keep trying. Jiangyu and I agreed that Song Linyan must pay for his past misdeeds. We approached other students who had been bullied by Song Linyan. Some of the victims had developed depression and couldn't lead normal lives. With our persuasion, they agreed to step forward and expose his crimes. Due to his despicable character, Song Linyan was expelled from the school. After many victims' parents learned the truth, they decided to sue Song Linyan. In stark contrast, Jiangyu successfully became one of the city's top students and won first place in the physics competition, earning direct admission to prestigious universities in Beijing. While I was diligently preparing for my college entrance exams, he had already started doing business. Such is the diversity of human life. Ever since my mom saw Song Linyan's true colors, her maternal love began to awaken. She quit her job and threw me a lavish birthday party at the city's most luxurious hotel. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw Zhou Quan. My mom does have maternal instincts, but they're limited. Zhou Quan's family is wealthy, and his father has business dealings with my mom. Just like in my previous life, my mom hoped I would marry into the Zhou family to help her gain more resources. To my surprise, she even invited Jiangyu. That dinner was truly a battlefield. Once the meal started, my mom began to make snide remarks at Jiangyu. Jiangyu, these are all top-tier ingredients: blue lobster, caviar, Kobe beef. You've never seen them before, have you? Eat up. You might not get the chance again. Zhou Quan, always sharp, said, go ahead, eat up. I'm paying for this meal, don't be shy with me. Jiangyu responded, no need, I've already paid my bill. My mom was shocked. It's 4,000 per person here. You've paid for all 12 of us. Not exactly. I only paid for my girlfriend and myself, Zhou Quan remarked. Tisk, this meal costs over 50,000. You definitely can't afford it. I'm a businessman. I expect returns when I invest money. I don't do things that don't come back, like throwing meat buns to dogs. I burst out laughing. Jiangyu, with his commanding presence and sharp words, never allows himself to be at a disadvantage. Suddenly, my mom said, the son of a prostitute, so uncultured, always speaking so crudely. Are you all deaf? Let him be for my little princess, I interjected, taking Jiangyu's hand. I've lost my appetite. We're leaving. Xin. You would reject a great marriage arrangement your mother made for you to follow this poor boy. Mom, after this meal, I'm an adult. Choosing my life partner is my freedom. I tightly held Jiangyu's hand. He's better than anyone else. Jiangyu's mother is his bottom line. He held back his anger only because it was my mom. I felt sorry for him. I pulled Jiangyu aside to a secluded corner, pulled down his collar, and made him look down. Boyfriend, give me a kiss to comfort you. Then I gave him a long, deep kiss. Jiangyu quickly took the lead, surprisingly skilled for a novice. I was wide-eyed with surprise. This domineering feeling. Jiangyu, you should be called husband, silly wife. It took you so long to recognize me. Jiangyu wiped the water from the corner of my lips, but the moment I opened my eyes, I knew you were also reborn. It turns out, there was never a fragile, helpless little girl. The hunter, in the guise of prey, schemed to pursue the girl he loved. Jiangyu, you're bad. Story 2, I had a car accident. After the car exploded, the husband I despised and detested all my life, ran towards the flames without hesitation, and died trying to save me. When I opened my eyes, I was back to being 25 years old. He was listening to my mother scolding him. The dowry should be 388,000 yuan, whether you have to sell blood or a kidney. You can't miss a penny. Mom, save me, save me. I was trapped in the passenger seat. The car had flipped over. My mother, with eyes red, rushed towards the car and struggled to open the door. First, she dragged out my brother who was in shock, then my sister-in-law and my nephew. After she pulled everyone from the back seat, she sat exhausted on the ground. I touched my swollen belly with my left hand. in 3 more months, I was going to welcome my first child. Thinking of my child, I found some strength. Mom, save me. It was the hottest time of the year, and even though it was a busy area, there weren't many people on the street. My husband parked the car by the roadside, because just as we passed a toy store, my nephew had set his eyes on an Ultraman Lego set in the display window. After my nephew started crying and using his ultimate weapon, my mother couldn't stand it anymore and started scolding my husband. How can you be such an uncle? Didn't you hear Lele crying? Go buy him the toy now. My husband looked at me, and I frowned impatiently. If mom tells you to go, just go. Lele is too noisy. I can't stand it. Over the years, whenever I went out with my mom and my brother's family, all expenses were paid by my husband, and we all got used to it. My husband looked at my belly, his expression worried. It's so hot today, why don't we go home early? I'm worried it's too much for you. Hearing this, my mother immediately became unhappy. Why be so delicate? When I was pregnant, I was still working in the fields. People weren't so fussy in the countryside. Chung-song, what do you mean? Are you reluctant to buy toys for my grandson? Look at how stingy you are. I'm ashamed to call you uncle. Seeing that my mother was about to make a scene again, I waved my hand to signal Chung-song to hurry down and buy the toy. 2. Today is Children's Day, and my brother brought my mother and the others to my house early, saying they wanted to give Lele a happy June. While pregnant, I went with them to the amusement park and had lunch. I finally endured until we could go home, really not wanting any more delays. Unexpectedly, just after Chung-song left, an accident happened. A sedan car drove straight towards us, flipping our car over. I covered my belly in pain, trying my best to unbuckle the seatbelt, but I couldn't muster any strength. My mother pulled the others out and sat on the ground, gasping for breath. With all my strength, I finally managed to call out Mom. Hearing my voice, my mother looked up and nudged my brother. Go pull your sister out, I'm out of strength. My brother hesitated and waved his hand. I wouldn't dare. Haven't you seen the news on TV? Cars can easily explode after a collision. What if it explodes when I go there? What? Explode? Hearing the word explode, my mother and my sister-in-law jumped up. The two of them, along with my brother and nephew, quickly ran towards the distance. I watched incredulously as they ran away. The house my brother got married in was bought by Chung-song and me. The dowry for his wife was paid by Chung-song and me. When my dad was last hospitalized, it was Chung-song who took care of him. My mother always said, a woman's reliance is her parental home. As long as my brother lives well, I can stand tall, and Chung-song won't look down on me, yet. The family I doted on my whole life left me in the car with a baby in my belly when disaster struck, and they all ran away. 3. Mom, little brother, save me, please save me. I cried out in despair, unwilling to accept my fate, yet all I could see was their figures growing smaller as they ran further away. Being pregnant, my sense of smell was exceptionally sharp. I could smell the intense scent of blood mixed with the strong odor of gasoline. The fuel tank was leaking. The car might actually explode. People on the street paused, hesitating to come any closer, some already pulling out their phones to make calls. My family ran without looking back, and my heart sank deeper and deeper. I really thought I was going to die. I felt sorry for my child, who hadn't even had the chance to see this world. Boom, the explosion erupted, and I felt my entire body scorch in an instant. Just before closing my eyes, I saw a tall figure running desperately toward me from afar against the crowd. It was Chung-song, that fool. The explosion had already happened, yet he was still running towards it. Wasn't he afraid of dying? Chung-song truly wasn't afraid of death. He faced the blazing high temperatures and plunged headlong into the fierce flames. Watching him desperately trying to reach me, arms flailing, actually made me laugh in spite of the situation. Amidst the blaze, the love in this fool's eyes burned even hotter than the flames. 4. I never actually liked Chung-song. Although he was handsome, he wasn't the type of handsome I liked. I preferred men with fair skin, preferably wearing glasses, genteel and soft-spoken. But Chung-song, he looked like he was from the countryside. His skin was the color of wheat, his body muscular, and although his features were striking with bold brows and bright eyes, his voice was particularly loud, which made him seem coarse. As the only scholar in our village, I really didn't want to marry Chung-song, but after so many matchmaking attempts, when all other men ran away hearing the dowry was 388,000 yuan, only Chung-song was willing to pay. Under my family's pressure, I married him reluctantly. After the marriage, Chung-song worked tirelessly to make money and treated me well. but I still found it all so meaningless. This man, I could command him to do anything, and he'd never say no. He seemed like a fool. Wasn't Chung-sung really a fool? If he wasn't a fool, why would he continue to treat me so well no matter how I treated him? If he wasn't a fool, why would he willingly be a workhorse for my family despite my coldness? If he wasn't a fool, why would he run into the fire to die with me? Before losing consciousness, I thought, if heaven could give me another chance, I would definitely treat this fool better, much better. 5. You. Wanting to marry our Chingwan. I heard you've been working in the city for years. With your education, how much could you possibly earn? Our Chingwan is the only scholar in our village. The dowry must be at least 388,000 yuan. Whether you sell your blood or your kidney, you can't be short. I shook my head, feeling both familiar and alienated by the middle-aged woman in front of me. She rolled her eyes and pursed her lips, her expression full of disdain and impatience. Is this my mother? I pinched myself to make sure I was actually sitting on the sofa at home with my mother, and across from me, there was Chung-sung, his face somber. Had I come back? I really was back. In disbelief, I stared at the young man sitting uncomfortably in front of me. This was Chung-sung at 25, young Chung-sung, still alive, Chung-sung. I screamed as I stood up. Then, under the shocked eyes of my mother and Chung-sung, I bent down, cupped Chung-sung's face with my hands, and kissed him fiercely. 6. With a loud crash, the cheap single sofa in our home, made of low-quality leather and a lightweight base, couldn't withstand the combined weight and frantic struggle between Chung-sung and me. We both ended up on the floor. Just before hitting the ground, Chung-sung quickly protected my head with his hands, but he himself took a hard hit on the floor. Hearing that sound, I winced in sympathy for his pain. Are you all right? Did you hurt yourself anywhere? With a flushed face, Chung-sung anxiously helped me up, his expression filled with worry. I stared blankly at Chung-sung's panicked demeanor. My heart felt as if it was being squeezed, sour and bitter. With a dull pain, I reached out to touch Chung-sung's face. His skin was smooth yet burning hot. Chung-sung froze as if a spell had been cast on him, rigid and unable to move, almost too scared to even blink. What are you doing, you silly girl? My mom stepped forward and pulled me away from him. She frowned, her gaze shifting back and forth between me and Chung-sung several times. Are you two in a relationship? No, we've just been sleeping. 7. The air was deathly silent. Chung-sung looked at me in astonishment, his eyes filled with disbelief and incomprehension. My mom, shocked, stared at me, and then, pulling off her slipper, she swung it at me. I'll beat you, you shameless girl. The reason my mom demanded a dowry of 388,000 was actually because of my brother. He had taken a liking to a girl whose family demanded a dowry of 260,000 and a fully paid house in the county town. Housing prices aren't high in our small town. A small 2-bedroom apartment costs just over 400,000, but all the savings my family had accumulated over the years amounted to just over 200,000. That was more than 500,000 short of the girl's family's demands. My dad suggested raising my dowry to 580,000, but my mom refused. After all, having finished my studies and worked for 2 years, I was already 25 years old. In the countryside, that's considered quite old for a woman. My mom felt that given my looks and education, 380,000 was already the limit, so she devised a plan and had my brother get his girlfriend pregnant. With the girl pregnant, my mom's stance suddenly became much stronger. After a lengthy bargaining, they settled the dowry at 158,000. If I could successfully marry for a dowry of 388,000, then my brother's wife would be secured, and their marriage would be successfully arranged. I had worked while studying, leaving me no time for relationships, so at 25, I hadn't even held a man's hand. My mom was particularly proud of this fact, bold enough to demand such a high price. Part of the reason was also that she considered me a valuable, untouched maiden. Now, hearing me say that I had slept with Chung-sung, my mom was absolutely furious. 8. Chung-sung, what are you waiting for? Run. I grabbed Chung-sung's hand and sprinted out of the house, with my mom chasing after us, slipper in hand and cursing. The shock of the day had overwhelmed Chung-sung. He was completely dazed. Led by my hand, he ran forward like a mechanical puppet. In the countryside, people might be slow at other things, but they gather quickly for a spectacle. Almost as soon as Chung-sung and I stepped out, the villagers, bowls in hand, gathered around. "Oh my, what's happening here?" Lu Tsuehua, the notorious gossip of Lu Village, was the first on the scene, a bun hanging from her mouth, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Mom, be careful, don't hurt the baby in my belly," I ran and cried, while not forgetting to clutch my stomach and pinch Chung Song. Clearly, Chung Song wasn't playing along. He turned his head, looking at me as if he wanted to say something but stopped himself. With a sigh, he gripped my hand tightly and led me into a run. We quickly left the village behind. Beside the village was a sizable lake, its waters a clear green, the scenery picturesque. Chung Song and I walked hand in hand by the lake, both of us silent for a long while. I quickened my pace, but Chung Song did not follow, pulled back by him. I turned around just to see Chung Song staring intensely at our intertwined hands. "Lu Qingwan, tell me, who is this man?" "Man, what man?" I looked up at him, bewildered. Chung Song's lips were tightly pursed, emotion swirling in his eyes. He gave a self-deprecating laugh, his lips curling slightly upward. "Lu Qingwan, I do like you, but that doesn't mean you can treat me like a fool. You've encountered a reckless bad boy, and now you want me to take the blame. Lu Qingwan, what am I really to you in your heart?" With that, Chung Song forcefully released my hand. His expression both pained and angry. I swallowed hard, facing Chung Song, who wore a dark expression. "Oh, my goodness, why has everything turned out so differently from what I expected? I was just trying to deceive my mother. It seems like I've really messed up the plot." Chung Song listened to my explanation. He had started to walk away but paused, standing still for a moment before turning back and shoving a bank card into my hand. Chung Song reached out, gently touched my hair, and forced a smile more pained than tears. "Lu Qingwan, take good care of yourself from now on. I won't come looking for you again. Take care of yourself." Chung Song ran off. Not only did he run, but he also ran away crying. Chung Song's parents divorced when he was very young, and he was raised by his grandfather. As a child, the village often mocked him, calling his mother derogatory names. Other kids tore his textbooks and threw away his chair, hurling mud at him. Only I would play with him. I thought Chung Song had eyes as bright as the stars. I loved watching the stars the most, maybe because I was the sole warmth in Chung Song's childhood, hence he pursued me and protected me all his life. In the past, even when he was pushed into the mud as a child, I never saw him cry. Thinking back to the tears on Chung Song's face just now, I feel that maybe things with Chung Song won't go so smoothly in this life. No. The thought of Chung Song possibly marrying another woman made my blood rush to my head. I will not allow this to happen. In a panic, I rushed back home, and as soon as my mother saw me enter, she threw a cloth at my face. "You still have the face to come back. How did I raise such a shameless daughter?" I rolled my eyes. "Isn't premature pregnancy a fine tradition in our family?" My mother froze, standing at the doorway, trembling with anger. It then dawned on me, before marrying Chung Song, I was the village scapegoat. Most of the village girls would go to the city after finishing junior high. For some reason, my parents allowed me to attend high school. Although I had good grades and the school waived my tuition, I financed my studies through student loans. Living expenses during school were earned through my part-time jobs. Still, I was grateful to my parents. They, however, reminded me every day of their great kindness in allowing me to study, claiming that I would never be able to repay their favor in my lifetime. Later, after marrying Chung Song, my mother would ask me for money every day. The more she asked, the less firm she became. As for me, pampered by Chung Song, my temperament grew worse. Although I never outright refused my parents' requests, I carried myself with an air of superiority. "Sister, how can you speak to Mom like that?" I didn't even realize when my younger brother had come home. He crossed his arms and glared at me angrily. Seeing my brother only fueled my anger. When the car exploded, my mom still thought of pulling me to safety, but this brother, for whom I bought a house and a car, only thought of running away. "Lu Xiuming, what does this have to do with you? Apart from leeching off your parents, what else can you do? Get lost." Bang, my dad slammed his hand on the table. "Who are you talking to? Show some respect. My brother and I are twins." Back then, our family was poor, living in a small town clinic. My mom never had an ultrasound. She didn't even know she was carrying twins. I heard that when the nurse brought me out of the operating room to show my dad, he just glanced and walked away. My grandmother was even worse. Opening a pot of chicken soup that had been stewing all day, she took one look and spat. "Pa, can't even produce a son. And you think you deserve to drink the chicken soup I labored over?" It wasn't until my brother was brought out that the mood finally lightened. Instantly, my mother went from being the hen that couldn't lay eggs to the hero of the Liu family. I rubbed my temples, looking at my family, who seemed unusually united in front of me. Suddenly, I realized that being important was also a burden. I haven't even married Song yet. Moreover, to get a good price for me. My mom hid our household registration book very tightly. After all, my brother's hopes for finding a wife all depended on me. If I ran away, there'd be no hope for my brother's marriage or his house. I had to deal with my family and win back Song every day. What is all this fuss about? I didn't have the energy to argue with my parents and went back to my room with a frown. I pulled out the bank card Song had given me from my pocket. It seemed to still carry his warmth, this fool. Thinking I was carrying someone else's child and still giving me money, he's hopelessly foolish. I was wrong. I knew rumors in the village spread fast. I didn't realize they could spread this fast. Just overnight, the whole village was saying I came home to have a matchmaking session because I was pregnant with some boss's child. The boss, after being beaten by his wife, obediently went back home. I neither got any money nor a husband, but ended up pregnant, so I thought about finding a man in the village to take the blame. The gossip was detailed, even describing the boss as over 40, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, slightly pot-bellied, and refined. The rumors were so detailed and specific, I almost believed them myself. My parents hung their heads low, too ashamed to even step outside. The atmosphere at home was terribly oppressive. That child, it's not Song's. My dad, holding a cigarette, furrowed his brow tightly, clearly speaking to me but his eyes fixed on the floor. Can we make Song accept the child? We could ask for a smaller dowry, just 288,000. I almost laughed out of anger. Dad, do you think Song is a fool? My dad put out his cigarette. Hasn't he loved you since you were kids? When you went to the city for high school, whenever he came back to the village, the first thing he'd do was hang around our doorstep. Song is stubborn, I'm not mistaken about that. You should talk to him about the 288,000. I can let him pay in installments, not all at once. 14, was Song always hanging around at my doorstep? No wonder I used to bump into him on the village roads every weekend when I came home from school. Looking back, what I thought were coincidences were actually the result of Song's careful planning day and night. How much must he like me? That silly guy. My heart feels tender and sweet. I don't care. Fang is pregnant now. I definitely have to give her an explanation. Her dad has already said that we can't skimp on the house and the dowry. They are only asking for 158,000 for the dowry, which is already considerate of our family. My brother threw a tantrum on the sofa, nearly rolling on the ground. My mom kept comforting him. All right, Mom will figure something out. Old man, won't you say something? My dad stood up. A down payment of 180,000. And the remaining 100,000 can be paid over 2 years. Have Song come over tomorrow, and we'll settle this. This family really has its quirks. Seeing the look on my face, my mom started to earnestly persuade me, all for my sake. Your parents are doing this all for you. Otherwise, why would you be the only girl in the village getting an education? Do you think it's because you're good at studying? No, it's because we are willing to support you. If your brother doesn't get married, how would your future husband respect you? Only if your brother is married with a son will you have a strong backing. He is your support and confidence for life. I nodded expressionlessly. Right. You are absolutely correct. 15. Song went to the city for work, and I shamelessly asked around a lot before I finally found out where he was working. After marrying Song in my previous life, I never had to worry about money. All I knew was that he worked in a renovation company. With the rise of real estate, the renovation business was booming. Song started as a brick mover, but he was clever and savvy. After some time, he learned tiling and became a skilled craftsman. Eventually, he and a few friends started their own renovation company. Business was getting better, and they were making more money. By now, he should still just be a tiling craftsman. The weather was very hot, and even though I was wearing a thin short-sleeved shirt, I was still sweating profusely. It was noon, and the half-renovated room felt like a furnace, stuffy and hot. Song, shirtless, was squatting on the ground working fervently. Sweat dripped from his chiseled chin to the ground, stirring ripples in my heart. I stared blankly at Song working hard, feeling my heartbeat quicken. Song looked up to relax his sore neck and was visibly startled when he saw me. Lu Qingwan. Song awkwardly stood up. He seemed reluctant to let me see him sweaty and dirty. He turned away, hastily pulled on a shirt lying nearby, and ran his hands through his already drenched hair before facing me with a stern expression. "What are you doing here?" 16. I pulled out a tissue to wipe the dirt off his forehead and smiled at him. "I came to see you." A flicker of joy passed through Chung Song's eyes, quickly followed by a look of disappointment, his eyes downcast, his tone tinged with sarcasm. "Are you short on money?" "That's all I have." "Money, money, money. Is money the only reason I would come to see him?" I glared at him, frustrated, yet feeling a bit uneasy inside. After all, in my previous life, I only treated Chung Song nicely when he gave me money. Chung Song wiped his sweat and took several big gulps from his water bottle. Looking at that green Sprite bottle, I felt a pang of heartache for the first time. Chung Song was always frugal, begrudging every cent. Every day he worked hard on the floor, and he couldn't even bring himself to buy a water cup. He reused a Sprite bottle every day. Every day, he would fill a bottle with cooled boiled water from home to take with him. The money he saved from living frugally was all taken by me to give to my parents' home. I really am a beast, Chung Song. I came to explain to you. The things I said that day were just to deceive my mom. Actually, I'm not pregnant. Chung Song looked at me doubtfully, and before he could speak, his phone rang. After taking the call on the side, Chung Song's face looked terrible. Suppressing his anger, he grabbed my wrist and pulled me up from the ground. "That call was from your mom. She said the dowry could be just 280,000 yuan, and it could be paid in installments. She also said that even though you are pregnant, the child can take my surname after birth." Like I'm picking up a free son. "Lu Qingwan, your whole family really treats me like a fool." "No, that's not it. Hey, listen to my explanation." I was driven away by Chung Song. After escorting me out of the neighborhood, he didn't look back and went to have dinner with his friends. Standing dazedly by the roadside, I experienced for the first time what it means to shoot oneself in the foot. The path to winning back my husband doesn't look easy, over time. I also don't know how to explain to Chung Song that I'm not pregnant. It's not like I could force him to accompany me to the hospital to prove my innocence. Chung Song is busy working and earning money. He probably doesn't have the time. Dejected, I went home. As soon as I arrived home, my mom came over anxiously. "Why didn't you answer your phone? How did it go with Chung Song? Your sister-in-law's family is pressing us again." "We can wait, but the baby inside cannot." I waved my hand impatiently. "If it can't wait, then let it be." Slap. I received a heavy slap on the face, which left me seeing stars and unable to react for a moment. My mom was holding my brother around the waist, and his face was fierce as he clenched his teeth. "Mom, let go." If it wasn't for Lu Qingwan degrading herself by getting pregnant, Chen Fong and I would have been married by now. Chung Song has been working since he graduated from middle school. He must have saved quite a lot of money over the years. It's all Lu Qingwan's fault. I have to beat her to death today. "Mom, let go." Tui. I spat out blood-stained spit. "Lu Xiaoming, I'm done with you." I grabbed a broom by the door and started hitting Lu Xiaoming over the head with it. Any sibling affection was long gone when he abandoned me in his past life. My brother was spoiled from childhood, stayed at home living off our parents after graduation, and stayed up late playing games every night. So, even though he was younger, his physical condition was poor. After being hit by me wielding the broom, Lu Xiaoming ran out of the house holding his head. I gripped the broom tightly and chased after him, causing a commotion that quickly attracted a crowd of onlookers. "What's going on? Why is Lu Qingwan still hitting?" As I swung the broom around fiercely and shouted, "Just because Chung Song couldn't provide a 380,000 yuan dowry to marry me, you want to hit me? You can't get a wife because you're incompetent. And you still have the nerve to hit me. Your computer and phone, I bought them for you with the money I earned. How could I have such an ungrateful brother?" At this point, even more people gathered around. Those who couldn't get a good view at the gate even climbed up the high walls to watch the drama unfold. Lu Xiaoming, humiliated by the public beating, was both ashamed and angry. Just then, as I was getting a bit weak, he snatched the broom from my hand and viciously hit me twice. One hitting my abdomen. Ouch. What's that on Lu Qingwan's backside? Good heavens, Lu Qingwan is bleeding. Mother, Lu Xiaoming has caused his sister to have a miscarriage. Lu Xiaoming and I both froze. Miscarriage. I numbly reached back to touch my behind, and sure enough, there was fresh red blood. I felt a faint pain in my lower abdomen. Is this my period? My periods weren't very regular when I was younger. Sometimes I would go 2 months between, sometimes it could take up to 3 months. Every time it happened, the flow was excessive, almost like a hemorrhage. Because of this irregular period, it took a whole 10 years of marriage with Chung Song before I got pregnant. Lu Xiaoming panicked, his face pale and his expression filled with terror. It wasn't me, I only hit her twice. It must be Lu Qingwan's own health issues that caused the miscarriage. As soon as Lu Xiaoming finished speaking, I staggered a few steps. Then my eyes rolled back and I collapsed to the ground. Lu Qingwan, a man's anxious voice called out as Chung Song forcefully made his way through the crowd to reach me. He swiftly picked me up and ran towards his minivan. Lu Qingwan, hang in there, you're going to be alright. The onlookers excitedly chased after us. I saw with my own eyes how Lu Tsuewa's mother sprinted ahead, almost running past Chung Song. My brother and my mother stood in the yard looking distressed, neither of them offering to take me to the hospital in crucial times. It was only Chung Song, always only Chung Song. I reached out and tightly held onto Chung Song's neck, feeling extremely blessed. It was wonderful. Chung Song still cared about me. He placed me in the passenger seat and drove quickly, his face filled with anxiety and his forehead covered with beads of sweat. I sat in the passenger seat, pressing on my abdomen, feeling waves of joy welling up inside me. Lu Qingwan, don't worry. I will find a way to save your child. Wait, child, hang on. Don't fall asleep, Lu Qingwan. As he continued, Chung Song's voice even became a bit heart-wrenching. Unable to pretend to be unconscious any longer, I sheepishly opened my eyes and managed a weak smile. Chung Song, don't worry too much. I think I'm actually fine. Over 20 years old and can't differentiate between menstruation and a miscarriage. Are you making a joke out of the hospital? Chung Song was so embarrassed by the young doctor that he couldn't even lift his head. He glared at me angrily. I immediately lowered my head like a scolded schoolchild. I told you it was just my period, but you wouldn't believe me. As we left the hospital, Chung Song still wore a look of disbelief. Lu Qingwan, how could you lie about something like this? Don't you know what the village is saying about you? Do you realize how important a girl's reputation is? Chung Song questioned me, and I kept my head down. Finally, frustrated and embarrassed, I defiantly raised my head and puffed out my chest. It's because you're naive. I originally wanted to say I was carrying your child so that my parents couldn't ask for a large dowry. Who knew? Everyone thought I was carrying someone else's child, even you thought so. Actually, I know I shouldn't blame others, because I really didn't think much of Chung Song before, never showing him any kindness, even before marrying Chung Song. I hardly spoke a few words to him, of course. Chung Song didn't believe me. He looked at me skeptically. After a long pause, he sighed deeply. Tell me, Lu Qingwan, what exactly do you want? I want to marry you. I want to treat you well all my life. I want to repay all the love I owed you in my past life. These words went through my mind over and over, but in the end, I swallowed them back down. That night, when Chung Song was supposed to take me home, I clung to his sleeve, unwilling to let go. I can't go home, it will give everything away. Chung Song looked at me intently, silent. I called my parents in front of him. Hello, Mom, I'm at the hospital. The medical expenses were over 6,000 yuan, which Chung Song had advanced for me. All my previous funds were in your account. Could you? Oh, you're being foolish. You can just use this opportunity to cling on to Chung Song. I'm hanging up now. It's just a miscarriage, nothing more. I still need to cook dinner for your brother. Chung Song remained silent, yet his eyes conveyed sympathy and pity. Blinking my eyes pitifully, I looked up at him. Chung Song, please take me in. I don't plan to go home anymore. I want to stay in the city, originally. I couldn't swallow my pride and wanted to stay at home to match wits with my family, but winning back Chung Song was far more important. After all, Chung Song was willing to earn money, and he wasn't bad looking. Although he wasn't highly educated, he was quite popular with the girls. As for my family, it's just my parents and my timid brother. If I don't provoke them, they can still lead a chaotic life on their own. Ah Song. I tugged at Chung Song's sleeve, causing him to shudder, his face turning red from his neck to the tips of his ears. As a child, I often played with Chung Song. Back then, I would sweetly call him Ah Song. In my previous life, whenever I called him that, no matter what I asked for, Chung Song would never refuse. Chung Song had actually already bought a house in the city at that time. Looking at the spacious and bright two-bedroom apartment, I was almost speechless. Is this your house? Chung Song carefully placed my shoes in the cabinet. Yes. I decorated this house myself, originally planning for marriage. He glanced at me with a flushed face and then quickly looked away. I remember that he paid the bride price, bought me 3 gold pieces, and it was 2 years later that we bought this house. So, did he sell his prepared matrimonial home to pay the bride price back then? I really didn't deserve it. Although Chung Song earned quite a bit in his previous life, I wasn't really well off, because I gave all the money I had to my family. In the end, even my brother's wife's family came to leech off us. What kind of madness had I succumbed to, forsaking a good life and putting myself and Chung Song through such turmoil? Thinking of this, I felt immensely guilty. I pulled out Chung Song's bank card from my pocket and forcefully placed it in his hand. Chung Song, this is your money, I'm giving it back to you. I'll earn my own money from now on, and I don't plan to go back home. My transformation in these past 2 days was so drastic that Chung Song didn't know how to respond. He stared at me for a long time, then broke into a radiant smile. Lu Qingwan, keep it up. Our cohabitation officially began. For the first time, I felt so useless. Although it was like returning to 10 years ago, I was clueless about the changes and trends in society. In my previous life, every time Chung Song made money, I would go home and show off. I was busy gossiping, dealing with family matters, shopping, and watching dramas, never considering earning money myself. Returning as a useless person, I remained just that. I lay on my back in bed, overwhelmed by a tremendous sense of defeat. The next day, before Chung Song had even gotten out of bed, I was already busy in the kitchen. With sleepy eyes, he came into the living room, and I had already prepared breakfast, wearing an apron. Tomato and egg noodles, want some? Shamefully, in my past life, it was always Chung Song who cooked for me. In this life, I am determined to be a good wife and mother to Chung Song and to strive to earn money, managing both family and career. Chung Song seemed pleasantly surprised. He cautiously took a bite of the noodles. He glanced up at me, then asked with a hint of impatience, Lu Qingwan, what is it that you want? It seemed that my image in Chung Song's mind wasn't particularly favorable. With a faint pout, I retorted, can't I cook for you without needing a reason? But actually, I do need a favor. Do you know where I can learn interior design? After a night of thought, I finally recognized my own strength. In my previous life, Chung Song loved taking me to see the beautifully decorated houses and various design plans his company had completed. He would patiently explain the different layouts and styles to me, sharing the trends and design principles. In the realm of interior design, I was at least a decade ahead of the current market trends. This time, Chung Song was genuinely surprised. Nevertheless, he seriously recommended a basic training course to me and, knowing that I was short on money, even generously paid the tuition for me. During my stay in town, my mother bombarded me with countless phone calls, all urging me to bring Chung Song home to formally propose marriage. She mentioned how my brother's wife was showing more and more, and the in-laws were becoming impatient. I casually brushed off the calls, let them wait. It was better this way. Chen Feng's family was not easy to deal with. Like me, she had a younger brother. Her marriage required a dowry partly to help finance her brother's future wedding. In my past life, Chen Feng had not missed any opportunity to siphon money from me to support her brother. This time around, I thought, let someone else bear that burden, humming a tune. I felt as if the world had become brighter since I'd left home. However, good days didn't last long before trouble struck my family. Chen Feng's family came knocking, creating havoc at our home and even injuring my father's head. When I arrived, I found my father with his head wrapped in gauze, lying in bed. My mother was fretting in the courtyard, and my brother was feigning death, stubbornly staying in bed, unwilling to get up. This family was a hopeless case. Why hasn't Chung Song come to pay the dowry yet? My father complained. I rolled my eyes. Forget it. I heard Chung Song is already seeing someone else. I'm a woman who has miscarried. No one will marry me now. Don't count on it. What? My mother screamed, standing up. She jabbed her finger into my forehead, frustrated. Have we really wasted our years raising you? I looked up at her and grinned. Isn't it said that children are debts? Muttering under her breath, my mother went off to cook while my father dozed on the bed. I seized the moment to sneak into their room and steal the family register. Dinner was a somber affair, and I couldn't hold back any longer. Why must you agree to give Chen Feng's family so much money and a house? When buying vegetables worth 2 yuan, you haggle, so why not bargain in this situation? And besides, Chen Feng is already pregnant. You're not refusing to support her, so why must you agree to every demand? What if she demands a Beijing apartment next? How will you handle that? Our family has its limits. If she agrees to marry into it, fine. If not, then let it be. Although I disliked my family, I detested Chen Feng's family even more. let them fight among themselves. Seeing no help from my end, my parents panicked. My brother, unwilling to let me leave, blocked the door. Lu Qingwan. We've supported you all this time, you can't just ignore our troubles. I gave him a chilling smile. You caused my miscarriage with that beating. Do you know what kind of crime that is? Everyone in the village saw it, and there are medical records at the hospital. That's considered serious injury. Serious injury is a criminal offense, you could go to jail, you know. My father became anxious immediately. You can't talk nonsense like that. It was an accident. My mother nodded vigorously in agreement. Exactly, don't try to pin this on your brother, he's all you have. My brother looked at me triumphantly, even daring to taunt me by tilting his chin up. I looked them in the eye seriously, then left home without looking back. From that moment on, their deaths had nothing to do with me anymore. When I got back to Song's place, he was still busy working on the ground. I had bought a bunch of vegetables from the market and was washing them. Wondering what exactly Song liked about me, though I was a good student in my youth, after marrying him, I became lazy and gluttonous, spending my days doing nothing but spending money and visiting my parents' home, even due to health reasons. It took us 10 years of marriage to conceive our first child. By then, we were both 35, yet, Song never once resented or complained about me. His attitude towards me never changed, just as it had always been. Song finished his chores and came back. I naturally took the bag from his hands and handed him his slippers. After he changed his clothes and returned from the room, I stuffed a piece of watermelon into his mouth. Is it sweet? Song's expression was dreamlike. He stared at me intently, almost as if he couldn't recognize me. I sighed. I'd just have to take it slow, considering how obviously I had shown disdain for him before. I'll make him get used to me. To the me who sees him in her eyes, Song, can I stay here a bit longer, until I find a job and save enough for rent, then I'll move out. Song picked up a piece of sweet and sour pork rib. Just stay here comfortably, don't move out. I poked at the rice in my bowl. Isn't that inappropriate? Wouldn't it affect your chances of finding someone? The moment the words left my mouth, I inwardly despised myself. Lu Qingwan. You really have a way with words. Song didn't respond. He just glanced at me meaningfully and continued eating. The atmosphere turned somewhat silent. After all I'd said, why hadn't Song given any indication? I felt disheartened and began to eat my rice, feeling a bit panicky inside. Song introduced me to an excellent training class. For the first time, I discovered that I might actually have a talent for interior design. Even the teacher frequently praised me. After studying for a while, the teacher even handed me a project to design independently. If the client was satisfied upon completion, I would receive a bonus. I worked so hard that I barely had time for Song, let alone the house. Eventually, my mother realized the family register was missing and called me angrily. I denied everything, even suggesting that maybe my brother had taken it to register for marriage with Fong. My mother had to care for my dad and brother daily and couldn't find time to come to me. Moreover, I had never told them my address. I just mentioned that I was working in the city, and they couldn't find me. After finishing the project, the teacher awarded me 3,000 yuan as a bonus, holding my first earnings in nearly 10 years. I was thrilled. The next day, when Song was off, I dragged him around the streets, wanting to buy him a gift. Embarrassingly, this was the first time I had ever initiated giving something to Song. We walked shoulder to shoulder down the street. Passing by the hospital entrance, we noticed an unusual crowd. Fong, you can't be so cruel. Fong. I tiptoed to see. Hey, isn't that Fong's family and my parents? He's a chubby kid. You Lu family can't afford to support a daughter-in-law and grandson. We, the old Chen family, will take the loss. Once this child is gone, our families will have nothing more to do with each other, no marriages or relations. Fong was dragged by her father towards the hospital entrance, her face streaked with tears. Lu Xiaoming, are you even a man? Think of something. Hearing that her grandson might be lost, my mother nearly went insane. She furiously cursed the Chen family for their black hearts, and after that, she berated my father for his incompetence. I watched with great interest. Fong's parents' strategy of retreating in order to advance was really quite something. Hearing about the loss of their grandson, wouldn't my parents go crazy? They would probably do anything, even sell their blood or flesh, to raise money for my brother-in-laws. I have a way, my father suddenly exclaimed, grabbing Fong's father. You know my daughter, right? Famous for her beauty far and wide, and she's educated too. I will go home and find her suitors right away. I don't care if they are old or lame. Whoever offers the highest price, I will marry her off to them. Young guys don't have money, but there are definitely older men who would be willing to pay. Beautiful, so they weren't thinking of selling blood or flesh but of selling me. I turned around and walked away. If they wanted to sell me, they'd have to find me first, and besides, what era do they think we are living in? My father still thinks he's living in the old society. Worried, Chung-sung kept glancing at me. Are you okay? I had long been disillusioned with my parents. Though it was uncomfortable, I wouldn't say it was too hard to bear, but since Chung-sung asked, I naturally had to show my heartache, not just heartache, but heartbreak. Chung-sung, I said, tears blurring my vision as I looked up, tears sliding down just at that moment. I have no home anymore. I am your home, Chung-sung declared sternly and solemnly, like a soldier reciting an oath. Lu Qingwan, don't be afraid, from now on, I am your home. I started crying and then began to laugh, my tears flowing even more fiercely. I thought you didn't like me anymore. Chung-sung frantically held my hand, as if he wanted to show me his heart. Lu Qingwan, I've liked you since I was 7 years old. My only dream in life is to marry you and give you a good life. I wiped my tears and looked up at Chung-sung skeptically. Are you lying to me? Then dare you go with me to get a marriage license? When we came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau soon after, I was still dazed. Did we really get our marriage certificate that easily? Chung-sung was even more bewildered than I was. He kept looking at the marriage certificate in his hand, closing his eyes tightly and then suddenly opening them again. After checking several times and seeing that the marriage certificate hadn't disappeared, he finally cracked a smile. As he smiled, Chung-sung grew anxious again. I haven't given you a dowry, nor have I bought you a ring or a house. Lu Qingwan, don't worry, we'll make up for it now. I placed my finger on his lips. I don't want those, Chung-sung, I just want you. I stretched out my arm and placed my hand in Chung-sung's palm. His palm was broad and rough. I gripped it tightly, as if I was holding on to my own happiness. Hand in hand, we returned home, and Chung-sung began making calls. His parents had divorced when he was young and never looked after him, and his grandfather had passed away a few years earlier. Relatives considered him a burden, fearing that if they helped him a few times, he would cling to them, so they all kept their distance. For Chung-sung, the friends he would meet later became his closest kin. Despite everything, at Chung-sung's insistence, we still had 2 tables of banquet. None of our friends and relatives were present. It was probably the simplest wedding I've ever seen, yet, I felt incredibly happy. Instead of spending money on a lavish wedding, I thought it best to save it for buying some nice clothes for Chung-sung and some comfortable furniture for our home. I finally became Chung-sung's wife once again. We enjoyed an unabashedly blissful honeymoon period. Chung-sung's colleagues joked that he seemed to be floating on air when he walked. Chung-sung and I were very sweet together. However, my family was going through a tough time. In the city, my parents couldn't find me, and Chen Feng's situation was only getting more complicated as time dragged on. With no other options, Chen Feng's family reluctantly accepted the marriage but pressured my parents to increase the dowry to 328,000 yuan. All of our family's savings went to Chen Feng's dowry, and we even accrued considerable debt. In contrast, Chen Feng's dowry was just 3 quilts. Naturally, we had no chance of getting a house in the city. After marrying, Chen Feng had no choice but to live with my parents. My parents had to pay off debts, support their son and daughter-in-law, and would eventually need to support grandchildren. Life became very tight. They couldn't even afford to use oil for cooking. Chung-sung and I successfully started an interior design company. Chung-sung was serious and responsible at work, and my designs were innovative and trendy. Our company quickly established itself in the competitive interior design industry. One day, while I was drawing in the office, Chung-sung entered with a peculiar look on his face, holding a cup of my favorite mango dessert drink. Guess who I saw? I saw your dad and your brother, hauling bricks. Your dad's hair has turned all white, and your brother has darkened a lot. I took a sip of my cold drink contentedly. You didn't let them see you, did you? Chung-sung shook his head. My parents wanted to sell me to an old man for the dowry. He still held a grudge. I had changed my phone number a long time ago and deliberately avoided contacting anyone from the village. Over the years, we made more and more money, and we moved from a small 2-bedroom to a 160 square meter flat. At the beginning of the year, Chung-sung and I went to visit his grandfather's grave. While driving to the city, a little boy stopped in front of our car, with his hands covered in mud. He knocked on our window. Lucky money, please, I stared at him carefully for a while before recognizing this dirty, ragged little boy as my nephew, Xiaolei. Thinking of my nephew from my past life, who was always well-dressed and bragged to his classmates about his toys, I felt a mix of emotions. Perhaps this was the life they were meant to lead, without Chung-song's relentless efforts. This lazy and foolish family would have naturally ended up living this kind of life. I opened my wallet and handed him 100 yuan. Xiaolei's eyes lit up. Beautiful auntie, congratulations on your fortune, good luck. He clutched the money and ran off quickly, apparently heading to the village store. Let's go, Ah Song. Chung-song stepped on the gas, and soon, we left the small mountain village far behind.